Howdy, 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 my name is Anacha Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I had to do a lot of things to make it actually let me record where I am right now. My microphone stand fell off the table it was attached to and it attacked me. The TV I have my computer plugged into kept trying to do all the things when all I needed to do was show me what's happening in case the video crashes. I know you can hear me, TV, that's why they call you smart. Anyway, in the last episode, I believe we read... let's see. The Second Brain Syndrome, White Tarsier, the Eternity Ward, the ICUC, and the Cordless Headphones. So in this one, we're going to be reading Digital Mode Shortwave Entity, a species of fish, the Lamp Man, the Playground of the Lost, and the Fall of a King. And depending on how long it is, maybe I'll just keep on going until we're finally in the 1100s, because holy crap, I thought I'd have been there by now, and I am not. So, let's check out that there first one. Is Euclid. SCP-1091-1 is not to be removed from its containment room. Okay. The containment room is to be surrounded by a multi-stage Faraday cage. That rhymes. 3 armed security personnel are to be stationed outside the containment room at all times. No radio devices are permitted within 200 meters of one. A live microphone feed must be active in the containment room outside the Faraday cage to record any transmissions or sounds from it for later analysis. It is not to have radio contact with any radio transmitting / receiving device unless approved by level 4 personnel for control testing purposes. Personnel are not permitted contact with one without specific authorization. All personnel must be searched to find and remove any radio devices before contact with one is permitted. If one transfers to another radio transmitting device, all personnel are instructed to seek out and destroy all radio devices within a 5-kilometer radius. Should Foundation personnel be unable to locate and recover 1091 within 2 hours, refer to Recall Protocol 1091 Beta. Is it going to tell us what that is? Or is it not? Is it? I don't think it is. SCP-1091 is a sentient entity that resides in radio receiving and transmitting devices. If its host device possesses a microphone or shortwave reception equipment and speakers, 1091 is capable of communicating. 1091 is capable of transferring itself between hosts by radio signal at a range dependent on the broadcast power of its host device. Given the opportunity, it will use its ability to transfer between devices rapidly in an attempt to data expunged. It must not be allowed to reach its destination. Should such a scenario become a possibility, MTF Lambda W is to refer to Recall Protocol 1091 Alpha. So there's 2 different protocols and it doesn't look like either one of them are in here. Thus far, 1091 has not demonstrated an ability to infect multiple devices simultaneously. However, this possibility cannot be entirely discounted. If the host of 1091 is destroyed or otherwise rendered unable to transmit before it is able to transfer, 1091 will immediately become located in 1 regardless of distance. For this reason, it has been suggested that 1 is the original source of 1091. 1091-1 resembles a Model S-38 shortwave receiver manufactured by the Hallicrafters Company in the mid-1940s. However, the composite material comprising the outer shell of 1 appears to be a mixture of carbon fiber and an unidentified material. Additionally, all attempts at opening 1091-1 for examinations have failed. All attempts to tune SCP-1091-1 have been ineffective. It plays only static until 1091 initiates communication. Any other radio device within 500 meters of 1 will experience the same tuning failure. It is able to communicate with Foundation personnel through various types of digital mode broadcasts. The choice of digital mode appears to be related to the person it is communicating with and the subject matter of the conversation. Okay, so interviewed, 1091, researcher, the reviewer, 1091. Clearly you have some form of sentience. Tell me, what is it that you were planning when we had recovered you? 1091 is silent for several seconds before broadcasting a data burst transmission approximately 45 seconds in length. Researcher, run that through the software, I want to know what this thing is thinking. It was later determined that the transmission was an SSTV broadcast in mode Robot 36. Decoded image is listed below, available with audio clip of the interview. Recovered image. So nearly free. How do I get out of here? Did not mean to close out of the entire entry, but that was also the end of the entry. So, oops. But I'm not going back in. A species of fish. It's a Euclid species of fish. SCP-1092 is to be housed in a 5 by 5 by 2.5 meter cell that is completely watertight and capable of being filled and drained via an installed pumping system. During its parasitic stage, 1092 will be contained in one domestic pig of no less than 54 kilograms. During this phase, 1092's host is to be fed regularly and otherwise treated as a normal animal. After 2 months' time since initiation of the parasitic stage, the containment cell will be flooded with 40 centimeters of water, and 1092 will be allowed to enter its aquatic stage. The body of its former host will be incinerated. After 4 months, another domestic pig meeting the same specifications will be placed into the inundated cell. Upon successful infection, the water will be drained and boiled 3 times at no less than 200 degrees Celsius before being disposed of. It used to say, all individuals who experience direct contact with 1092 or its containment area will be analyzed with X-ray radiography after leaving. Now it says, in light of Incident A, personnel suspected of exposure to 1092 will be quarantined for no less than 2 weeks, during which time they will receive full-body X-ray scans every 48 hours. Those infected will be terminated. See Addendum 2. I was about to say, monitor doesn't sound right, but no, it says terminated now. Description. SCP-1092 is that class fish. During its aquatic phase, virtually indistinguishable from other related fishes, except for a tendency towards aggression. Let's find out what kind of fish that is. What kind of fish is that? It is a bony fish. I don't know how many answers I thought I was going to get from looking for this, but it's a bony fish. That's our answers. However, only adolescent and adult instances of 1092 have been observed outside of a living host. Juveniles are obligate parasites. The fish infects the circulatory system of its host, absorbing oxygen and nutrients directly from the host's blood. Once in the bloodstream, instances grow from less than a millimeter in diameter to many times their original size. The largest recorded specimen being 2.1 centimeters in diameter, extracted from the host's aorta, which is a heart bit. Not a fun place for those. The way 1092 initially establishes an infection is not clear. However, it is theorized that its tiny eggs enter the bloodstream through cuts and lacerations on the subject's flesh, which would explain its aggressive tendencies. It has been known to infect a number of larger mammals, including goats, sheep, humans, and pigs. I don't know why they redacted that. Humans infected by 1092 often experience fatigue, weight loss, and increased appetite. Further, many subjects infected will report fluttering or squirming sensations inside their body. Nevertheless, it must be noted that a significant portion of those infected experience no noticeable symptoms until the parasite has matured to the end of its parasitic stage. Once the fish have matured within a host for 6 to 9 weeks, they will be ready to enter their aquatic stage. 1092 will generally wait for the host to be contacting or surrounded by a significant amount of water, liquid water. The mechanism for detecting water outside of the host body is still under investigation. See document blank. When the host contacts water, all mature instances of 1092 will forcibly expel themselves from the host body using their teeth to cut through blood vessels and epithelium? Subjects will sustain anywhere from minor injury to severe blood loss and death depending on the location and severity of the infection. It is important to mention that a small but notable portion of subjects will experience a secondary stage of infection. In these individuals, 1092 will travel up the I feel like it's pronounced carotid, but it is not written like that? Artery, at which point redacted. Incident A. Unknown to any Foundation staff at the time, Agent Blank was exposed to 1092 and the infection progressed unchecked for at least 6 weeks. It is hypothesized the agent was initially infected via a small cut on the inside of his lip. 1092 exited his body without warning while he was taking a shower in facilities at Site Blank. Although medical attention was given almost immediately, the hemorrhaging proved too extensive and the agent died within the hour. Incident B. A member of the research team investigating 1092, Dr. Blank, despite having no prior history of violent behavior, was somehow able to gain control of data expunged, resulting in a site-wide containment breach including the temporary release of SCP blank, blank, and blank. This was suspected to have been a distraction staged in order to allow Dr. Blank to redact it unnoticed. The subject was finally terminated only 5 kilometers away from the Colorado River Aqueduct. Upon autopsy, the subject was confirmed to have an advanced stage 1092 infection in his brain. Okie dokie then. Which aqueduct did that say? Colorado River Aqueduct. Okay. Next up is the Lamp Man. While the Lamp Man is safe, the Lamp Man is to be kept inside a sealed 5 by 5 meter containment cell. It is to be encased in a 30 centimeter thick lining of lead. Personnel are prohibited from entering the containment cell or making contact with the Lamp Man, unless instructed by level 4 personnel assigned to the object. No staff are permitted to enter Lamp Man's containment cell or make any contact with Lamp Man without first being suited in the proper radiological protection. The Lamp Man is to remain deactivated unless the designated staff have instructed its activation. I get the distinct feeling that the description of the Lamp Man is not going to be as whimsical as it feels to say his name. So then, the Lamp Man is a Caucasian male, 1.68 meters in height and between 30 and 35 years old. The head of the Lamp Man is composed entirely of a bright light measuring approximately 1600 lumens. The Lamp Man has no physical cranium, and there are no known sources for the light emitting from the head area of the Lamp Man. The light at the Lamp Man's head does not emanate from any sort of heat. No causes for this abnormality have been determined. The Lamp Man is highly radioactive, emitting radiation levels ranging from 3500 rad to 4000 rad. If you came across the Lamp Man in a Fallout game, it would kill you quickly just from sort of being there. It has not yet been determined what causes the Lamp Man to emit these lethal doses of radiation, see? The Lamp Man itself does not appear to be affected by this radiation, and it will constantly emit radiation regardless of whether or not it has been activated. On the back of the Lamp Man, attached to the base of the neck, is a switch labeled on and off, resembling that of a typical household light switch. Light only emits from the Lamp Man when the switch is activated. When deactivated, the Lamp Man appears completely headless. When not activated through this switch, the Lamp Man's upper body will remain limp. Upon activation, he will T-pose. No, the Lamp Man will lift his upper body, standing stiff and motionless until deactivation. Biological examination of the Lamp Man has shown it to be, externally, a living and healthy human from the neck down. The Lamp Man displays a stable heartbeat and steady, constant breathing. How the Lamp Man is capable of respiration is unknown, as there are no visible openings to allow any form of inhalation or exhalation. The Lamp Man does not appear to require food, drink, or sleep. All bodily functions immediately cease upon deactivation. For information regarding the internal anatomy of the Lamp Man, refer to Surgical Report F-22-4B 1093. When activated, the Lamp Man is entirely dormant. The Lamp Man does not respond to any staff attempts at interaction and is completely unresponsive to all external stimuli. In this state, the Lamp Man does not appear capable of speech and does not display any evidence of sapience. Under these conditions, the Lamp Man will continually stay stationary, locked into a single stiff, upright position until deactivation. Personnel who have been within the immediate proximity of the Lamp Man have reported experiencing auditory hallucinations that promptly desist upon exiting the chamber. Extended contact with the Lamp Man appears to cease these hallucinations, or cause these hallucinations, to persist for longer periods of time, typically spanning several days before abruptly ceasing. That's where I got the word ceasing from. I read them out of order because my eyes be like that sometimes. In a number of cases, the sounds have continued for excessive spans of time, which has caused significant distress in the afflicted personnel, though the eventual sudden desistance has remained in nearly all cases. The most commonly experienced sounds produced by the Lamp Man include a high-pitched ringing, a loud drilling sound, and a low pulsation similar to that of a heartbeat. These auditory anomalies all appear to occur exclusively when the Lamp Man is activated, and all seem to emanate from an indiscernible source. I would actually just have the surgical report. Surgical examination conducted under the supervision of Dr. Somebody. The Lamp Man remained deactivated during the length of the surgery. As of the writing of this report, no internal observation on the Lamp Man has been performed while it is in its active state. Radiological protection was worn by all personnel engaged in the operation. Upon the first abdominal incision, when piercing the dermis of the specimen, all agents in the immediate area reported a sudden high-pitched ringing emanating from an undiscernible source. The ringing continued until the incision was completed and the abdomen of the specimen was fully opened. This ringing process repeated for each subsequent incision made upon the subject. Once the internals were exposed, no organs or skeletal structures could be located. The entire interior of the Lamp Man appears to consist solely of a pale white opalescent substance. The material has a gelatinous consistency and is filled with many branching red and blue vein-like protrusions. It seems to be very durable and resistant to damage, as none of the tools used during the surgery were capable of piercing or scratching it. The substance remains unidentified and no samples were able to be retracted for testing. One abnormality of note is that, when handling the exterior portions of the lamp man's body, all agents could physically feel internal bone-like structures. The ribcage of the lamp man is visible when viewed externally, but no skeleton appears to be present within the interior of the lamp man. In addition, prior tests have indicated the presence of several functioning internal organs within the lamp man, but none could be identified during the length of the examination. Further investigation of this matter is requested. All incisions made upon the specimen healed at a normal rate over the course of several months subsequent to the surgery with the expected scarring. Okie dokie. Next up is a Playground of the Lost. Did I miss something? It feels like I missed something, but it doesn't look like I did. The Playground of the Lost is safe. So I guess it's safe because it's a playground and it's not going anywhere, but it's not safe if you go into it, probably. SCP-1094 is kept within Site-94. Well, okay then. A containment site disguised as an office building belonging to a private company. I bet the company is SCP something, because that's all their companies ever do, because they have no sense of imagination. Attempts made by civilians to enter Site-94 should be deterred, with amnestics being distributed should it be found necessary. No personnel are to enter the established safe zone within 1094 except during authorized testing sessions. Personnel expressing interest in interacting with 1094 are to be moved from the site immediately. 1094 is a playground located in Redacted. The playground contains standard recreational equipment including seesaws, merry-go-rounds, slides, monkey bars, and swing sets. The equipment is constructed out of wood, plastic, and steel and displays no unusual properties on its own. SCP-1094 appears to be inhabited by one or more immaterial entities that manipulate the equipment on a regular basis, as personnel have reported such things as swings moving on their own, or hearing sounds from the slide. The nature of these entities and their connection to SCP-1094 is not fully understood. Human beings near 1094 feel compelled to play within it. This effect appears to have a circular range of approximately 17 meters around 1094 and is entirely psychological in nature. This urge is stronger depending on the age of the subject affected, with pre-adolescents reacting the most to exposure. Subjects past puberty can resist the urge with moderate difficulty, but the severity of the urge is increased if the subject directly views or hears another human interacting with 1094. Playing within 1094 induces a state of euphoria in the subject, causing them to ignore any previous assignment or duty in favor of continuing to play with 1094. Repeated and continuous exposure to it via physical contact with any of the recreational equipment available causes the subject interacting with it to disappear. In all of the blank cases this has been tested, the subject disappeared while they were already completely absent from sight, such as when they were using the slide or climbing through the tunnel connecting two parts of a larger structure. Any tracking device placed on the subject previous to their disappearance will be found in the structure the subject disappeared within. Discovery: SCP-1094 was discovered when reports of a series of disappearances in the town of Redacted surfaced in media. SCP-1094 was tracked down as the source of the disappearances and was successfully contained. Out of the blank reports, blank were found to have been caused by 1094. Addendum: on May 19th, Dr. Someone, a researcher assigned to Site-94, was found missing. Security footage shows that Dr. R was working on a report in his office when what appeared to be an elderly man wearing a yellow raincoat entered the room. It should be brought to attention that the door was never opened and that it was not raining at the time. Dr. R fails to notice the man, who starts walking towards Dr. R as the camera abruptly goes blank. The camera resumes functioning approximately 7 hours later, at which point the office is empty. The report that the doctor was writing was recovered and only found it consists of a single sentence: "I'll take care of the children." Security efforts were doubled following the disappearance of that doctor. Okay. Does that mean the dude in the raincoat was the last person that was grabbed to take care of the children? The fall of a king. It's what? The following containment procedures are expected to change due to revisions in Containment Protocols X-1006 which specifically deals with reality-bending anomalies. Refer to Collins Jessica, the Scranton Report, Entropy, and SCP Foundation Journal 19-something. SCP-1095, Keter. 1095 is provisionally contained on site at Blank, Texas. The surrounding building is closed off to the public under the cover that it is under renovation. At least 2 security guards are to surround the area to prevent trespassing. Due to the nature of 1095, Level 1 security personnel are also posted near the entrance of 1095. A barrier has been constructed around the side of 1095 that is within 1. Site 156 is established within 1 in order to minimize the chance of an XI-6 event. The area is under surveillance to monitor the activities of all 2 instances. Agents and security guards are posted by 1's police precinct and courthouse. Personnel are encouraged to assist 2B instances in intervention of possible XI-6 events. Mobile Task Force XI-6 Bixby Hunters is responsible for handling the events. After an event, witnesses of the event are to be administered Class B amnestics. Personnel from Site 156 are responsible for determining the new location of 1095. This is accomplished by translocating via 1095 and surveying the new surrounding area. The new location is to be reported, and containment specialists will be sent to the area to ensure proper containment. Information relating to 2B1 is to be reported to the site director of Site 156. Description: SCP-1095 is a spatial anomaly measuring 3.1 by 3 by 2.4 meters inside the Blank Tavern located in Blank, Texas. 1095 exhibits a minor effect on local reality, appearing as a slight blurring around the surrounding area. A subject passing through it will be instantly translocated to a location resembling the town of Blank Blank, referred to as 1. The location of 1095 inside of 1 is inside the town hall of 1. 1095-1 covers an area of approximately 1.2 kilometers squared. Any area beyond 1 is perceived as a white plane, which is domed by an electrical field of unknown origin. 1 has approximately 70,000 humanoid residents, all of whom are level 4 reality benders, referred to as 2. Instances are capable of manipulating local reality within an 11-meter radius. This manipulation is limited to movement of objects, which is, for the purposes of this document, object refers to any material or substance that an instance can touch. This includes, but is not limited to, inorganic materials, rocks and minerals, ferrous and non-ferrous metals, plastic, and organic materials, soil, flora, fauna. Transformation of objects, and spontaneous materialization/dematerialization of objects. Instances cannot directly affect other instances or personnel with these abilities. Most instances are also incapable of manipulating local reality upon themselves, with the exception of instances of 2B. Instances are politically divided into 3 groups. 2A, instances classified under this group make up the majority of residents, approximately 68,000. These instances use their abilities for trivial purposes, e.g. opening a door, moving a car, etc. Attempts to use their abilities beyond this is halted by instances of 2B. Instances classified under this group make up approximately 300 residents. These instances resemble law enforcement, judicial members, and political leaders. In most cases, these instances are noted to use their abilities to enforce order. 2C, approximately 50 to 200 residents are classified under this group. Instances under this group use their abilities with malicious intent. In most cases, intervention of 2B instances is sufficient enough to contain 2C instances. In the result that intervention is not successful, these instances escape 1 in an attempt to pass through 1095. Any instance of 2 passing through 1095 into universal local reality results in an XI-6 event, which says, instances translocating from 1095 via 1 are unable to return to 1. Instances that attempt to do so dematerialize upon touching 1095. During an event, surrounding local reality is heavily disrupted. It is theorized that the cause of XI-6 events stem from the baseline reality in 1 differing from the universal local reality. Refer to Collins Jessica, The Reality of Alternate Dimensions, a comprehensive study of This disruption results in a destruction of local reality outside of 1 surrounding 1095. An initial instance passing through 1095 disrupts reality within a 20-meter radius. This exponentially increases for every 2 additional instances. After an event, 1095 will instantly translocate to another location. The location it appears in will usually be inside a tavern or a store in a small town. Discovery: SCP-1095 was originally found inside a tavern in Blank, Nevada. The anomaly was reported to a local police force. An agent embedded within the force contacted the Foundation, and a provisional containment area was constructed soon after. Shortly after containment, several D-Class personnel were sent through to determine its anomalous properties. After subsequent exploration, instances became aware of personnel and greeted subjects. The instances of 2B engaged with hostility. D-Class were instructed to leave 1, where an XI-6 event occurred shortly afterwards. The event resulted in a breach of containment, destruction of the containment area, and numerous casualties. An MTF was dispatched to the area, ending the event by terminating instances of 2 outside of 1. Class B amnestics were administered to two witnesses of the event. After the event, 1095 was missing from its original location. A test subject remained within 1 during the aftermath. The new location of 1095 was found, and new containment procedures were devised. Diplomatic relations were established between Foundation personnel and instances of 2. A minority of instances were deemed a threat and became classified as 2C. Excerpt of speech by 2B1. Okay. Forward, 2B1 is the mayor of 1. Do not be alarmed. Yes, it is true that we have foreign men in our land. Yes, it is also true that we've had radicals attempt to escape after these men came. We must not look at the situation with pessimism, but with hope. Hope. It is what brings us together, and it is what will pull us through. The truth is that without these men, we would never have seen these traitors come out of the woodwork until it was too late. We will be living blissfully walking past these treacherous individuals on a day-to-day basis. His eyes narrow. But we must not fret. We have our friends to thank for arriving at the nick of time. Together we will find these radicals and progress towards a brighter and happier future. The audience applauds. Incident 2. Site 156 was established within 1. Agents were embedded within the stores, markets, and other places of occupation. Increased surveillance led to unrest among residents of 1095. Legislature was passed by instances of 2B. These laws relaxed surveillance by personnel. However, increased screening for 2C's instances were implemented. An instance of 2A was accused of being an instance of 2C. Let's see. This was implemented under the Radical Act, Section 2C142, referred to Bigson Jonathan, A Short History of SCP-1095-1's legislator. As a result, unrest escalated between residents. Security guards were placed to calm the unrest in the streets of 1095-1. Excerpt of press statement. B12 is the sheriff. The indictment of one of our fellow residents is a tragedy. However, we must remember that we live in different times. It pains us to do this. It is a necessary evil for the greater good. There is sufficient evidence to suspect that Mr. Blank is a threat to our town. Officer Blank stated that his life was in imminent danger and did what he had to do to detain Mr. Blank. We took care of the rest. It's up to the jury to decide his fate. Okay, let me close that. The instance of 2A was convicted and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Unrest continued to grow among residents. Although no casualties occurred, it was suspected that an XI-6 event would happen in response to the conviction. Security was heightened. Incident 45. A press statement was released by the mayor. In recent months, we have been under great duress. Many joke that it's the radicals or the police, but I'd like to side with the latter. We have been faced with a hidden, unknown enemy that threatens not only to eradicate us, but also our friends. Nods toward Agent Thompson, assigned to Site 156. Paranoia has bested us. Perhaps it is not the fear of the enemy, but the fear that lies within us, all of us, that is threatening. Starting today, our city council will work with the Foundation in an attempt to bring reform and relief to our exasperated residents. A meeting will be held to discuss the problems that trouble us, and compromise will be made to meet the needs of our residents. An agreement was made between the Foundation and instances of 2B to reform the policy of screening for instances of 2C. Surveillance decreased, and security guard/agents were limited to posts by the police station and courthouse of 1. Several weeks after implementation of these procedures, several instances of 2C breached containment, resulting in multiple events. Several 2B passed through in an attempt to aid personnel containment. This resulted in extensive destruction of the town of blank blank, where 1095 was previously contained. Instances of 2C were terminated. Instances of 2B were instructed to go back to 1. A cover story was established under the guise that the town of blank suffered a fire from a nearby forest. Broadcasts and news stories were intercepted to fit this story. Amnestics were administered to the residents of Blank. The new location was found shortly after, and a provisional containment site was built around the area. 2B5, a close relative of 2B1, was missing after the incident. Excerpt of a press statement by 1. At the time of documentation, they have not been found. Unfortunately, my brother Cadwell is not with us. He, like other men that day, fought bravely against the radicals that sought to destroy our friend's world. I can tell you without fail that the radicals have bested us. We have let our guard down, and because of it, they took away hundreds of lives in our friends' worlds. Now, my fellow residents, I must tell you this. You are either with us or against us. That is the honest truth. We have reached a breaking point. Addendum. Approximately 5 months after the incident 45, 2B5 was found near Site 132. They were placed under custody, or he was placed under custody and sent to Site Blank, which was closest to 1095's provisional containment site. The following is an interview of 2B5 conducted by Dr. Kim. Forward, 2B5 was noted to exhibit a noticeable effect on local reality, appearing as a visual blurring within a 2-meter radius. This effect returned to normal whenever 2B5 left its radius. Can you tell us why you came here? I can't tell you much, but what I can tell you is that I'm here as a whistleblower. I wish I had more time, but I'm as good as dead. Don't worry, we will protect you. No, you do not understand. We are duplicitous people. Our members carry enormous power. We're just excellent at concealing it. Even more so than the residents we rule over. The only issue is that we could never overcome tens of thousands by power alone. Okay, to make this clear, you were stating that your members present more ability than they currently express. That is correct. We were aware of methods where we can amplify these abilities if we concentrate on creating a hole in reality. We had a hole ready to be ripped open. All we needed was to have someone on the other side open it for us. It was a long wait, but the patience paid off. One of your people stumbled in with a camera strapped on his head, and we assumed we were ready to go. But then the rest of your foundation showed up. That's when we had to establish negotiation. Noted. Anything else you'd like to add? The people you were hunting after? They're the wrong ones. I wish I could say more. Tell them to be careful. Tell your men to be careful, because it was a mistake to come here. We will. Thank you for your cooperation. Conclusion. A few days after concluding the interview, 2B5's body heavily disrupted local reality within Site Blank. This resulted in destruction of its containment cell. The instance expired, local reality shifted to normal several hours after the event. Addendum 10. Information restricted to Level 3 personnel or above. Input credentials. On April 23rd, 19-something, an XK6 event occurred within Site SCP-1095-1, despite no instances of 2B translocating via 1095. Several buildings were damaged and 2 casualties were reported. Instances of 2B arrested 2A18921, who was suspected to be the cause of the event. Unrest grew between residents in 1. Shortly after arrest, an individual identical to the suspect was found among protesters. Both instances were arrested to determine which instance was responsible for the event. Extensive questioning did not distinguish the instances. A test was pending to take a DNA sample between both instances. Before approval, one of the instances was found deceased inside its cell. The other instance was missing. During this time, 2B1 was also noted to be missing. Civil unrest grew further, resulting in destruction and looting of 1. Additional security personnel were assigned to calm the unrest. Deliberation among instances of 2B, and personnel deemed Jonathan Bixson, the site director of 156, to be a temporary mayor of 1. The following is an excerpt of a conversation between 2B1 and Agent Thompson, recorded shortly before the instance's disappearance. It's been quite a while since Cadwell has disappeared. How long would you say it's been? About 6 months? Oh. Has the Foundation spotted him? I'm not allowed to disclose that. You are also aware that he can't come back, no matter what we do. Do you think people like me, Thompson? Of course they do. They're just in a frenzy because of the constant attacks from the radicals. I guess you've got a point there. I can't help but feel that my decisions have been a bit shady at best. I've made mistakes. What do you mean? It's a bit hard to describe. How can I put it? Well, it's like misdirection, except it's... Excuse me, throat's a bit dry. except it feels intentional. I mean, it isn't, but I could have done better these past years. I'm sure you don't have to worry. You've been a great mayor so far. Right. You're right. So it sounds like what he's concerned about is it feels like he's been misleading them against his will. But also, since this is the way the SCP ends, I guess we're just never going to hear of this again. And this episode is past half an hour now, so I'm going to end it here, and then the next episode will break through to the 1100. So, this has been Anancha Sasuke. This is episode 200 and something of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well, so that you get notified when I do another one, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.